Flea fam.
I know, this is crazy.
Woo!
First episode. So many.
The highly anticipated. So ready to bring this to life, finally, right?
I mean, I'm ready to bring it to life. We've been talking about this since December.
Yeah. I mean,
kind of crazy to think it's been 4 months.
It's been in my mind for, a long time at this point, like a year or so. Yeah, let's do it. I'm so excited to be here, to meet you, to actually obviously I know you, but just getting to know you in this regard and take this on with our Flea fam. This is gonna be
so exciting.
So good. So yes, welcome to you, me, and the Flea.
Buckle up because we are about to spill the tea on all things Flea.
But seriously. And yes, if you don't know, this is a Swap-O-Rama produced, if you will, inspired talk that we'll be having, podcast that we're shooting. As we'll get into, I work for Swap-O-Rama, which again, we'll dive into, which is a flea market. So hence the you, me, and the Flea, and how we got here. You, me, Flea. It's gonna work, and I'm so excited to dive in a little deeper. So
me too.
Yeah. Well, let's get it rolling. I am Kristina Dukas. Hello.
I am Rachel Sadowski.
Nice to meet you, Rachel Sadowski.
Nice to meet you, Kristina Dukas.
So yeah, like I just said, I am the marketing director at Swap-O-Rama, which is a Chicagoland flea market. We also have two flea markets in Florida, Central Florida, which we will dive into Swap-O-Rama. This one's about us. So, so just kind of a little bit about, I guess we can go back in our backgrounds and chat a little bit about, ourselves and why the hell we're doing this.
Yeah.
So everyone's like,
you have a flea market and you
why?
have a podcast. I'm confused.
Yeah.
What the thing too?
Seriously, what the fuck? We promise it's good. It's going to be really good. I guess let's take it back a little bit. I grew up in Indiana, born and raised in Northwest Indiana, aka the region, they call it. So very close to Chicago. Grew up here my whole life. Greek. So I feel like I should mention that because it's a pretty big part of my life and who I am. And yeah, I guess, I don't know, you want to know where I went to school and shit?
I mean, how much do we,
how much time do we have here? No, but seriously. So yeah, I guess a little bit about me and how I stumbled upon this position basically, was obviously having foreign parents. My dad had a restaurant growing up. So I always kind of loved, the hustle and bustle of, entrepreneurship for sure. Watching my dad, create a business and work at it every single day and provide for his family was just something super motivating for me. And then obviously, my parents always kind of instilled in us that mentality of, we always have to work hard for things. And so that's kind of a little bit about that. Like I said, I grew up in Indiana, so went to high school there. I stayed local for college, went to Purdue, but a satellite location of it, if you will. So got my education there, was such a grinder. I worked 2 restaurant positions. So went there and then worked my tail off pretty much. So that I always carry near and dear to my heart. My major in college, believe it or not, was psychology and sociology. And well, at first I was going into education and thought I would be some sort of teacher, but that didn't play out. And then I'm like, you know what? I love hearing people and chatting with people. I'm going to be a counselor, and that didn't pan out. Because I stumbled upon business and marketing in a social work setting.
Okay.
I worked for a social work company and then basically took on this recruiter marketing role and really loved it. However, as we know, those positions are really grueling emotionally, which I just couldn't stop thinking about the families that I was serving. So it was really tough for me to kind of transition into something else. I took a huge leap of faith and took a sales role, which I no training in sales other than being in the restaurant business, right? Upselling stuff or like suggesting things, like that's always a question. Like, what do you recommend or whatever? So like I always had that skill that I guess you don't realize it. You know what I mean? You don't realize like you're practicing sales all the time. I mean, even being girls, like where it's like, oh my gosh, what mascara do you use? Like that's an indirect sale, like being like
Totally.
L'Oreal, and whatever. And so yes, it did come to me like pretty whatever, but it was a big risk where there was some people that actually had that training. So anyways, that brought me to Chicago, which my God, I would not change for the world. Again, just being out of my comfort zone and not only a job and like where you're comfortable with was such a big risk for me. But I just kind of had it in my like gut. Like I just knew like I had to take it. Right. So I did. And honestly, it was the best like thing I could have done for myself. I've met incredibly hardworking and like awesome people that have become like such lifelong friends at this point. And then that actually led to my current boss, which again, we'll meet soon here. After he had been in his position for, actually probably a little under a year, I got approached with the opportunity to work with him, which has been incredible ever since. And now I'm 5.5 years working for this company that I love. And I feel like it's important to know our backgrounds and stuff, especially in this industry, because it really embodies a lot of stuff, right? Like I touched on things with like family. I know we'll talk, but like we're both very, very family driven people. And so that drives me. Like entrepreneurship, like I mentioned, I know a freaking grind when I see it. And I mean, have been literally embodied that like my entire life. So just watching all of this like has been awesome. And anyways, I'm just so excited, I guess, to get this party started. I'm just really excited to kind of bring some of these voices to life and like bring kind of our expertise and our stuff into this field, because it definitely deserves a spotlight for sure.
For sure.
So that's high level me, and I guess we can go into, you, Rachel Sadowski.
Oh boy, what do you want to know? So
Yeah,
I'm
let's go.
actually from Michigan, a very small town in Michigan.
Are we blue or are we Sparties?
We're
Or-
blue.
we're
Go blue.
Okay.
Full and full. Full and full.
Okay.
Through and through. What is it? Through and through.
Okay.
Right. I have had a lot of fun times at States.
For
so,
sure. For sure.
equal opportunist over here. Equal opportunist. You know what I'm saying.
Oh, for sure.
But at the end of the day, I'm definitely rooting for Michigan.
I mean, yeah, that's interesting you say that, because in Indiana, it's like IU or Purdue. Both my sisters went to IU. I went to Purdue.
Uh-huh.
So
your family is like, I have to root
well,
for
for
both.
us, for us, it's always like the house divided. That's what they call it in
Sure.
Indiana. It's like, oh, you're either a Boilermaker or you're a Hoosier. But I spend a lot of time in Bloomington, so I don't know. We're Hoosiers at heart, I think.
Ooh,
But anyways,
okay.
I digress. Going back to you.
So where do we begin? You said you were Greek. I'm actually 100% Polish, but I was born in Michigan. My parents were actually both born in Michigan as well. However, grandparents were born in Poland. I still have a lot of family over there. My first job, like no joke, was when I was 14 years old. I wanted to start driver's ed. And in the state of Michigan, you have to be 14 years and 9 months to start driver's ed. So my parents were like, absolutely, like you can start driver's ed, let's do it. But like once you get a car, you're going to have to pay for the gas and like to take care of the car. We'll help you get the car, but like we're not giving you gas money. This isn't like, you're just going to be living off of us.
Yeah.
Right. So I will say this is kind of the age where my love of like designer handbags started.
14.
Yes, at such a young age. Just so I could get the things I wanted that my parents like wouldn't pay for. After that, went to high school at South Lyon High School. I was like the social butterfly in high school. I was not over here like studying. I didn't really give a shit about my grades.
Same.
I did enough to like not get benched and not get grounded.
Yeah.
And I kind of like look back now and think it's a little bit like full circle, like funny, because I feel like a lot of my teachers, honestly, in high school thought I would be this like person who would never leave small town South Lyon and like do something with their life. And like for me, like my haters are like my motivators. Like if you tell me you can't do it, like I'm gonna make sure I do it, and I'm gonna do it like 10 times harder.
Yeah.
So that being said, graduated high school, went to Oakland Community College. And then from there, I transferred to the Art Institute of Michigan and studied fashion marketing and management. Got the opportunity to potentially go study in Paris, France. And I applied, like thinking, there was only 20 spots. I found out I got in, and I was the only one from the Art Institute of Michigan to be going. I tried sticking it out at school, but it was just like not for me. And I told my parents, like, I want to go back to school. I want to leave the Art Institute. I want to go back to school for makeup design and film and fashion. Ended up working for Indigo Salon Spa and Boutique, which is kind of by my parents in like Canton, Michigan. And I was the makeup artist there and like the brand ambassador. I ended up getting transferred to the Chicago Chanel at Bloomingdale's, the 900 North Michigan Ave building. Kind of brings you to like where I am now today. I've always wanted to work for myself and like have my own company, and whether that be like a makeup company or what I'm doing now. So I kind of left Chanel. I ended up getting a sales job that was salary like Monday through Friday. So when I got laid off last year, it was a very tough pill to swallow because I have never been laid off before. Now looking back, it was a blessing in disguise. It was, my boyfriend, my best friends, my family who were like, you've been saying forever you want to start your own business. Why don't you really like look into this and kind of like take the time to like figure out what you want to do. And, with that being said and done, that's when I started Social Proof, which is my company. It is a social media marketing and management company. And I basically work with clients who are looking to accelerate and upscale their online presence and business.
Sheesh. We've had a journey.
You asked.
Love that. No, that's awesome. And obviously that's kind of why our paths have crossed. Rachel is definitely a key component to our success here at Swap, especially these past several months. So lucky to have you. Lucky to have you here now.
I'm very excited to work with you. If you asked me in September when I got my LLC and when all of this started and when we started kind of like having those initial conversations, in 6 months, we're going to be starting a podcast together and co-hosting and hosting something every week. I would have been like, what? How? When? Are we really going to get there? But we've gotten there.
I would have been like, you're insane. No, thanks. I'm so busy. I guess, I don't know if there's like any questions that you have maybe for me, for us, like whatever. Or we can just kind of dive in maybe like why we are doing this.
Yeah, I would say like, Christina is the marketing director of Swap-O-Rama. I own Social Proof, the social media company. I guess what made you, in September what made you even want to have that initial conversation with me? Where were you kind of at maybe with your business that made you want to, hire someone in social media or, kind of take on this like new endeavor?
That's a good one. Look, I think it's 2023, and I think it's fair to say that, yourself included too, like it's been kind of such an interesting few years, just in the way that, marketing has changed altogether.
Sure.
And so, especially when you have a brand like Swap-O-Rama that is 50 plus years old at this point, marketing looks a lot different now, right? And so in a flea market space, it's been interesting because a a lot of the work and the advertising in the past has been like a lot of ground and pound. It's really important that I can't just be the only eyes on this, right? And so yeah, so that's why you're here, and even just to bring my visions to life or just to validate my madness, like I appreciate that,
Of
you
course.
know, and so it's really cool.
Like, I feel like there's this whole like misconstrued idea of like, oh, a flea market. I'm going to be honest, guys. The things that I have found in the last 6 months at Swap-O-Rama at the flea market, I literally use every day. So it's like, I am excited to kind of bring light on something that has been around Chicago and Florida for so long and kind of reintroduce it into like a younger crowd.
For sure.
Because there is some straight up gems at the flea market.
We got a lot to talk
Of
about,
good
girl.
shit.
For sure. Well, thank you. I mean, it's cool. And I know that, you know, this is only episode 1.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely be chiseling away at each other.
Of course.
This whole time.
And thank you too
yeah.
for like, you know, bringing me into this whole world to begin
Strap
with
up your boots,
back
baby.
in September.
Strap up your boots. Clearly, I think clearly we both, like, just hearing you and like my little background here, it's like clearly we come from, it's so freaking cool when you have, you know, when we're not, our backgrounds are so unique and interesting, right? It's like when you, especially when your family is, you know, blue collar and just, you know, mine are immigrants, yours are immigrant. Like, it's just a really cool thing to like, to be able to talk about this stuff and like really bring some light to a lot of it. And, yeah, man, I'm so excited.
Me too. I'm so excited for you guys to hear the rest of what we have coming out in the next couple months.
For sure. We have a lot to talk about, man.
We do. We are going to be spilling the tea on all things Flea. So if you like this episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.
And follow us on social, right?
Of course.
We want to hear from the Flea fam. So
we sure do. What do you guys
yeah.
want to know, or what are you looking for at a flea market? I'll find it.
Yeah, it's a very good
We'll
point.
find it.
That's a very good point too. So I think we have a lot that we want to talk about and we want to bring to light. But gosh, if you are a flea market goer and you have anything you want us to talk about, questions, whatever,
How to get involved in a flea market.
Hit us up in our DMs and we will go from there because we are ready to talk. We are ready.
We are ready. Thanks so
Let's
much
do
for
this.
joining.
Well, thanks so much, Rachel.
Thank you,
And
Christina.
we're excited for what's to come, y'all.
Have a
See
good
ya.
one.